Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm excited to show you this really banger tiny game I played. Now it's not an offlane game. I know like every single video on this channel is an offlane video. This is not that. This is a position 4 video, except I have an offlane Rubik, which might throw you off a little bit. Either way, I lane against Dubu here today. You know, pretty talented player, Dubu and Lil Nick lane, so very, very high MMR lane. And yet we were able to pull out ahead. I think we pulled out ahead on the lane. We at least went even in the lane, and then I think my mid-game rotations were insane. I learned a lot from watching SAKSA's tiny replays, and I tried to implement a lot of the ideas that I learned from him into this replay. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a perfect position 4 player. I forget a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I do believe that my position 4, especially my ability to find team fights and initiate, is extremely good, and hopefully I can teach you guys those concepts here today. So, in terms of my build, you're going to see I have a very specific concept. I know for a fact, if I do not buy items that let me trade with Ogre Magi, my Rubik will get completely zoned out by Ogre, right? How does Rubik trade with an Ogre, right? If this Ogre has a move, which he does, how does he trade? And keep in mind, like you'll see in a second from now, this Ogre with Bloodlust is a menace, right? Look at this damage. I mean, I know I have 0 armor on Tiny, but it's crazy how much damage this hero does. So, the build I learned from SAKSA and a couple of other players is Tree Grab level 1. It gives you 20 damage and attack range, which basically means that you can actually hit people. If you don't take this ability at level 1, honestly, I think we would hard lose this lane. If I didn't go this sort of item build now, I take this to the extreme. This like, I can't even speak. The Million Mango build that I have here is really good for just having HP regen. I currently have 14 regen with the tangos, which is really crazy, right? It's really, really crazy. And you'll see with the tree grab, I can hit Dubu quite a lot. And then, obviously, you're going to throw the last charge for efficiency. And all of a sudden, we've dropped the Ogre to half HP, right? Pretty efficient. From there, I'm going to block the small camp. Just want to make sure he doesn't have a pull, right? This is definitely not a lane where I can comfortably contest the pull. The Ogre can zone me out pretty easily. So I want to make sure I block that up. From there, I'm just going to kind of zone, right? I'm not going to overextend. I'm not going to overplay my hand. What a lot of people would do wrong here, and position 4 players always think they have to be killing and they have to be constantly fighting. No, you don't. You want to fight when people extend towards the wave, or if your offlaner can't farm. Yes, there are some lanes where you're just going to have extreme advantage, even at level 1. But most of the time, that's not the case. So I secure the range creep, and then I kite out, right? I'm not going to man up. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm simply going to play back in the wave and chill. And here comes our first massive play of the game. This was a nasty play here. But basically, I hit level 2. I know I'm going to hit level 2, right? So you'll see I start sprinting at Dubu. Even though I'm not level 2 yet, I know I'm going to hit level 2 off these creeps. And I have the awareness to realize, okay, I'm going to hit level 2 off these creeps. Even here, I shouldn't have thrown that auto attack. I should have just followed him the entire way back. But toss range is pretty far, and because of the toss range, I'm able to toss him onto the Rubik. We get a lift on the Ogre as well, bring him back into the tower. We grab a tree, chuck it at him, and that's a kill. Unfortunately, not first blood, but a beautiful execution from me and the Rubik to pick up a nice kill onto the Ogre. And really what was key about that kill was he wasn't low on HP. It's not like he got a big HP refresh off that kill, right? He died from probably 2/3 health, and that's when kills are particularly valuable because we didn't commit that many resources for it. So that was a really, really big kill for us. And then from there, once again, I'm just going to hit him, right? As I said, the only job I have in this lane really is just hit the Ogre with tree grab from the left side of the lane so I don't pull creep aggro. That's about it, right? Yes, I can look for a toss play like that, but other than that, it's hit Ogre and make sure he can't pull. That's about it, because if I try to hit Morph, the Ogre is just going to beat me up, right? It's as simple as that. I just can't do anything besides hit Ogre, and that's fine. So I see that the camp gets blocked. I decide, okay, I'll make sure he doesn't get the pull off. Once again, just want to prevent that from happening, which is why I bought a sentry. So we get that, and then he just extends there, so a little bit out of position. We come back over. Easy avalanche. That's not, anyone could have done that. That was pretty straightforward. We shift back over into the lane, and we're just chilling. I know I'm sapping a lot of XP, but I think it's fine, because the Rubik can't self-sustain. He can't play this lane alone, right? He can't, right? He needs me in the lane as we snipe a courier. I love the tiny one-shots couriers. It's so cool. You can even throw the tree to kill couriers. But yeah, unfortunately we get zoned out here. When your tree grab is on cooldown, you're really weak, and you shouldn't look to engage, really. You should play pretty passive on the tree grab CD. Outside of that, as long as you do that, you'll generally win trades because of how good the range is on and damages with this tree grab. As you know, when the ogre does leave, I grief a bit of CS from the morphling, right? You can do that as well. You can look to deny creeps. If the position 5 is AFK, you can deny creeps. If they're not, you gotta chase them around and hit them with the tree. And yeah, I'll skip ahead now because it's kind of just the same thing over and over again. From there, I look to contest the 6-minute rune, right? I'm also paying attention to the levels. I noticed that my Leshrak's only level 5. Unfortunately, he bought back. He died first blood and then bought back, which was very cool, right? You love to see it when that happens from your mid lane player. Either way, I shift over, right? Okay, I see a good fight breaking out. I'm like, maybe this can turn into something. Unfortunately, it's not much of anything, and I probably shouldn't have even have used Avalanche there because they can then chase me. But okay, we disengage, right? Get a nice little disengage. We're going to look to farm up the mid wave. Just get our XP. I don't want to get too much HP burn, but we're chilling. Get our HP up and lingering around mid, right? I'm lingering around mid. I don't want to commit to mid, but I do want to linger as we find some bounty runes, pick up a clarity, right? Always ship out clarities, and then... okay. Honestly, I don't know why I paused. Something came. I don't know why I paused. I mean, to be fair, it's Lil Nick, and I was just fucking around. It really wasn't a malice. There was no malice intent behind that pause. But we caught the morphling. We get a solo kill, which is so huge because that gets us full tranquils and then a windlace on top of the tranquils. And that's something. If you upgrade to tranquils, it's good to buy another windlace, and then you just run around at like 400 movement speed, something crazy high when the windlace and the tranquils are active. Well, windlace is always active, but you get what I'm saying, right? When that's the case, you just go crazy. So I get that kill, and that completely catapulted my game. It gave me a huge bit of levels, and yeah, from here, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to hard dive, but my team decides to do it, so it's fine. We just kill the ogre, I think. No, okay, yeah, that's a nice tornado. We actually did kill the ogre, but we have to kite out, no mana. Now I'll just get bad a bit. And this is honestly where the game gets weird, and this is probably a big thing for all you position 5 players and 4 players that you really struggle with, right? Which is knowing what to do, especially when your team is AFK. The big thing here is that, okay, we go for this kill. Honestly, we probably should have led with Rubik Lift. It's way faster than Avalanche. It's not way faster, but it's better. I don't know if he can morph when he's Avalanched. I think he can't. I think he can. Pretty sure he can after a certain tick. But you might not know what to do when the game statics out like this, right? What do you do? There doesn't seem to be many plays. Honestly, I think my best play was to smoke the Leshrak to bottom. I really think that was the big mistake of me this game. I kind of lingered around their jungle here, and I was like not sure what to do because there wasn't a very obvious play. No one was overextending. But what I think I should have done is identified how we can take this bottom tower and, most importantly, open the map for Slark because he's our main win condition. Lesh kind of is too, but, you know, basically, I didn't know what to do. You can see I'm kind of walking around. I don't really mind doing nothing, right? I'm kind of like lingering top, seeing if maybe they're going to dive the Dazzle, come back mid, see if they're going to dive the Rubik. Then I kill myself because I'm bored. Nah, I was just trying to waste their time here. I wasn't obviously just trying to kill myself. I didn't think the Enigma would shift over like that, so they echoed me, got caught off guard. Not a great death. But the big thing I missed there is that's why you always buy smokes, right? Because that's the only way to get people going. They're not going to listen to you talk. The only way you're going to get people to make moves in solo queue, you know, sometimes they'll listen to you talk. But 9 times out of 10, you got to smoke them, right? You have to smoke them. And so I should have smoked the Lesh bot, because you'll see in a moment now, he hits a great stun. This is a great play by him. But he doesn't need to hit a skill shot stun. It should just be an avalanche into a Lesh stun and a free kill, right? That's all this should have been. It shouldn't have been as complicated as, you know, the Slark having the lane bottom for 12 minutes without us taking the tower, which can happen, and it's not the end of the world. He was doing fine. But the point is that it shouldn't have been that hard, right? It shouldn't have been that hard. I should have brought him there earlier when he had the resources. We should have taken that tower earlier and opened the map for the Slark. Because their Ogre was also farming the entire time bottom. Like, keep in mind, he was farming. And you don't want that. You might be like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a 5. It is a big deal, right? His levels super matter, right? They super matter. So it is a big deal. All right, so next up, we ended up winning this team fight, and you're going to see I'm going to dive mid-tower. And you guys know I'm, like, pretty anti-diving towers. I'm usually like, do not dive, right? The thing is, there's, of course, exceptions, and this, in my head, was very clearly an exception. The Earthshaker is going to show his TP here, And you'll see, I think he sees me, right? And he panics. He's like, shit, I'm going to get tossed, right? So he cancels, and I know he cancels, right? So he cancels, and Enigma's dead, and they linger around the area. I'm like, okay, we have a numbers advantage. We put down the sentry, get the toss onto the Invoker, and we pick up a kill onto the Invoker. Really huge, right? And that was massive. Just a quick identification of Enigma dead, Shaker cancels TP. With little hesitation, I book it under the tower. I'm like, okay, usually I wouldn't make this play, but Tiny has pretty good reach, right? The Avalanche is a very good catchability. This is just, once again, Invoker's dead, Enigma TP bottom. I'm like, shit, we have great vision underneath this tower with the Slark night vision. He has Diffusal Blade. He's very strong, right? I don't know why he doesn't have a magic wand. That's so gross that this guy doesn't have a magic wand. Why would he not buy a magic wand? How do you not have a magic wand? All right, besides the point. But we get a huge 2-man Avalanche. We toss the Ogre on top. And we get a nice little double... okay, wait. Yeah, eventually... eventually we get a double kill. So that's what it's about, right? When people are like, oh, I'm a position 4, I don't know how to win these games. You have to be the guy who identifies the numbers advantages. Now, your team is occasionally going to kill themselves, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're going to initiate. But when you see a gap, you got to know it's a gap. And it's got to be based off something. Most of the time, people just run in and go in, and they're like, I'm initiating, I'm baiting, I'm frontlining, why does my team suck? It's like, it's probably based on nothing. You're probably diving a tower into 5 heroes. That's not good initiation. That's not good position 4. That's just initiating. It's not good initiating, it's just initiating. Alright, from there, I want to linger around my vision. The main thing I have vision of right now is mid-wave and the bottom side of the map, and that's what I want to play around. So here, I do show myself mid. I wanted to cut the wave and put some pressure, right? Just kind of pressure them to lose the mid wave. Right, I'm going to kill off the mid wave, shove it under the tower, get some gold, and overall just keep the mid wave pushing in, right? With the mid wave pushing in, it's going to give us some info. Unfortunately, Dubu's one of the best players in the world. This is so... Did he have a ward on me? Oh, did he have a ward on me? Oh, he had a ward on me. I'm like, how did he de-ward this? I was like so blown away that he de-warded it. I was like, what? Did he check my inventory? Oh no, he just saw it. I was like, that's crazy that got de-warded. Either way, we get de-warded, so I kind of need... Now I need to kind of play around my teammates, right? Because we lose our ward. We decided to put another one down, which is fine. But I'm following my Slark. I wanted to follow the Slark night vision. Now, I decided to smoke us here. I felt that the enemy was splitting the map. They were afraid of us, right? We were definitely winning the game. We're 4K up, and I felt that they were going to kind of dodge. So what we're looking to do here is toss people together. The best play on Tiny in the mid game is either tossing people back onto your team, but if the fight... So, you see how the fight is kind of in this, like, weird circle? When the fight's in a weird circle, and there's not necessarily, like, a toss back, you can just toss people on top of each other. That's fine, too. If it's just, like, a fight where, you know, let's say my team is all here, and Ogre shows here, I would blink toss, and then I would avalanche this way to protect myself if I thought they were behind him, or I'd avalanche him. But here, you can see, because of the fact that I think it's a winning fight, it was based off of smoke, I think we're in advantage, I'm going to play for a double kill, right? So I toss them together, and it kind of enables my Slark to get a kill into the Ogre there without having to extend himself. So that's a big advantage of Tiny, especially in these, like, circle-y fights. I don't know how else to put it. Fights that aren't in regular formation. Now here... This is the greatest bait of all time. This is the greatest bait of all time. This is actually the greatest bait of all time. So I walk up the hill. You know, I'm just moonwalking or something like that. My character's frozen. But I see them coming, and I know they can cancel my blink. I'm, like, not completely stupid. So I bait them in, right? I'm like, okay, Ogre's dead, Enigma's dead. This guy doesn't have Echo, which I knew. And then, I mean, this Invoker was pretty poor. I was aware of that. I guess I could die, but... It's, like, pretty hard for... I'm very tanky. I have 1,600 HP and a ton of armor, right, because of my ult... Alright, not a ton, 10. I'm exaggerating a bit. But we hit him with the bait, right? We hit him with the hard bait, and we turn around with the avalanche. We get a toss to finish the Invoker kill. Slark got disarmed, so I want to play it safe, and it turns into a double. So, once again, it's just kind of, like, identifying... I mean, I obviously bait them hard there. They see me alone. They're like, what is this clown doing? He's just fucking around. So they go on me, but I'm not. I know my Slark is in the area. I'm watching the minimap. I know that there's 2 heroes dead, so I'm not just forcing a fight. Because their triangle is not a great place to fight. But it is fine in that situation, right? Because of the relative strength of our heroes as we find the Morphling mid. Unfortunately, we don't end up getting the kill. I don't want to say a good... it was a good black hole. No, it was a good black hole. We end up killing the Morphling, to be fair. We end up cleaning them up anyway. But once again... And this is kind of the thing about being an initiator player. It's just all about these, just paying attention to the game. Paying attention to the game state. It's so hard to do this. I'm going to keep it real. It's hard. right? But we get this kill, we get this shaker, and then I know we're an advantage, right? I know we're an advantage, so I'm going to play like we're an advantage. This Morphling shows he doesn't get a second to show, right? I mean, to be fair, you could argue he's just being stupid, which, I mean, I guess is somewhat true in that case, but you get the point, right? You get the point. One more thing you'll also note about, for instance, this initiation, I did feel like there was a chance they could fight me when I dove here. So you notice when I go in, I kind of mess up my blink, and so I kite out, right? When I realize, okay, I kind of messed up, right? I can't really go in. I'm going to kite to the outside. And that's a big thing as well. When you initiate, you don't want to kite in. It's very important, and one of the key ways to gain MMR, key, talents or skills you need to develop to gain MMR is just the intuition to kite out after you initiate. It seems really straightforward as I say it, and you might even think, oh, I do that. How often do you do it? Do you do it every fight, right? And that's really, really key, because every single initiation, I'm going to kite out, right? Basically every time. Hopefully I don't jinx it now in the next few team fights, but either way, as we go in here, I'm kind of like, it's a bit of a weird go. You might seem like odd what I'm doing, but it's kind of me just judging what's happening. I'm like, my Slark doesn't have Aegis, my Rubik just killed himself. This is pretty trash, so I just avalanche and walk away, right? I definitely should have blinked out here. I don't know why I didn't blink. That was just low skill for me, but you can say I was just gauging, right? So I don't blink in, because I should have lived, and it would have been a great decision for me not to blink in, because I could have blinked out. But I messed up. Happens. And now from there, I'm just looking for tossbacks. Anytime you go high ground, the biggest advantage and best way to end the game in Dota is repositioning tools, for sure. It makes it super easy to end the game because you can actually dive high ground without having to commit. And you'll see with little hesitation, I'm happy to do that. Why? 2 heroes dead, no black hole. I'm like, okay, I can toss back. I also specifically know Invoker doesn't have BKB. He went a very greedy build. He bought a shard, he bought a blink, literally not a single defensive item. And I'm checking items throughout the game, or I'm just updating it based on what I see, just in my head, right? I'm like, oh, okay, he hasn't BKB'd, he probably doesn't have it. That's another way I go about it too. I'm not always clicking on them. Sometimes I'm just assuming based on what I've seen. And so this Invoker is a perfect jump. He has no defense mechanism, and that's exactly what ends up killing him here, right? Unfortunately, I should have dusted him. When I went on him, I should have dusted him. I don't think we would have killed him anyway. It was a bit of a miscommunication. I went in and Slark wasn't really looking. He went for the Shaker. But it's fine, right? The Invoker couldn't cast his spells. He had to panic cast a Tornado. That's all he did there, right? He couldn't go on the Dazzle or the Rubik or even try to save his Earthshaker. He was just freaked out because he has no defensive item. He knows that, right? He's going to play like that. And so, right, we're in a great position. And now with the Force Staff, this is a key timing. The Force Staff is absolutely massive because it allows you to kite out. As we find a Morphling here, kind of messed up as we toss back. Just keeping him in place. And you never, by the way, you never combo. In the late game, never combo. Unless the person is literally low HP and it's going to one-shot them, never combo. Always stagger the stuns. The point of Tiny is that you have like 3 or 4 seconds of stun if you include avalanche duration and then like toss being like technically, it's probably 3 seconds of stun total about, which is a lot, right? It's a lot because they're stunned in toss, right? They're stunned that entire time, and it's really, really key. So we keep the Morphling down, right? He just gets destroyed. His stats are completely neutered here, and this fight ends up, I think we lose this fight. The Morphling Axe goes crazy. All right, this next play, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of lucky, but you know, whatever. You take it sometimes. I go on the Morphling, like, my team's in the area, the Lesh can follow it up, I know that, but, you know, you could call it, unfortunately, I tossed my Lesh, which I really didn't want to do, but, you know, you could call it luck, you could call me being the greatest player of all time, you could call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but we hit those 3-man avalanches with no vision. I was just going on the Morphling, but whatever, we get a good jump. And then from there, once again, looking to go high ground. And you should be comfortable diving on this hero because you're basically preventing your team from diving, right? You dive so they don't dive. It's a great way to make sure your shitters don't dive, you know what I mean? Because someone's going to dive if you don't dive, and you toss back, and it makes it clear to everyone, hey, you know, we're not diving, we're just going in, right? We're just kind of tossing them back and keeping everyone in position. It will naturally keep your team in position, which is why Tiny... I don't, like, the hero's really hard, but if you get good at it, it just keeps everyone in a good spot. As unfortunately we couldn't, you know, coordinate that. But same thing, right? It just keeps everyone in a clean spot, right? We're all, I mean, my Dazzle's heinously out of position here. I don't know. He probably shouldn't be standing in black hole range. He should not hex and then walk forward. That's really low skill because he's setting up for a black hole here. It's not a good play, but either way, it doesn't matter. We get the kill, right? He mantas, but he runs out of mana, or something, I don't know. But we get the kill, and it's easy, it's free, right? We kite out as well, we see them. Also, I think I went on him specifically because I saw them bottom. Was that what it was? Yeah, okay. I see them bottom, and then I'm like pinging, I'm like, hey, someone might defend this. So someone shows, no hesitation, right? Because I've already decided in my head they're not here. I don't have to hesitate. I'm like, if someone shows, I'm going, no hesitation, because I've already identified my state of advantage, right? Why I would make that play. It's very clear. So same thing here. I find the Enigma. Just I know they're split up, so whatever they're doing, if they're not together, it's bad. And then the game kind of. Unfortunately, I couldn't toss there, but we go for a low combo. Couldn't get it off. Whatever. We kill the ogre, and the game is really chilling now, right? We're super chilling. I think, is this where we die? Is this where Morph turns into Slark and pops off? Yeah, I think so. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I completely baited you guys. If you were hoping to see a Slark Morph, you got completely baited. I guess it's not happening. But, I thought it happens eventually. What do I do? Do we end the game here? What happens? I thought we end the game. Okay, never mind. I'm just lying to you. I don't know when that happened, or if I skipped it or something. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned about it a lot about initiating. I really don't think there's a lot of videos on YouTube that kind of talk about, like, I know I'm not necessarily talking about something that's even hard to understand. It's pretty easy to understand. It's just like, watch the map and see if you have numbers advantages. But the amount of players who can actively do that are very little. I'm just being honest. Even most players on my bracket don't really do it well. And it comes off as egotistical. It kind of is. Like, I know I'm one of the best players when it comes to this. But you have to be able to do that if you want to carry these games as these initiator heroes. Especially on a hero like Tiny that has some of the best initiating capabilities in the game because of the fact that he can reposition people on, what is it, a 14-second cooldown? 11? My bad. Avalanche is 14. Yeah. And, alright. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm posting videos like this almost every day. I posted, yeah, basically almost every day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.